Okay. I'm James Gregg. With me today, I've got John Wires from Boulder Creek Investments, as well as Adam Doran. And he is an investor, a friend, and an insurance expert here to talk a little bit about what he does in the insurance space and how that relates to our real estate investing. So, Adam, with that, I'm going to kick it over to you right away. Can you give us a little bit of background in your experience in real estate, as well as how that connects to your current profession in insurance?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, James. And thanks, James and John, for just inviting me to come share a little bit today. But my real estate journey started in about 2011. I'd been a police officer for 10 years at that point and was chronically struggling to have enough cash. And I just realized I needed to do some personal discovery on how am I going to do better for myself. And so ultimately, through time and a process, I ended up getting into real estate investing. Did some wholesaling in the beginning, then some single family rentals, which I did pretty successfully up until this year, 2019. Sold the last of my single family portfolio and started getting into multifamily, which is how I met you guys, and now doing deals together in multifamily. Also, I ended up leaving that law enforcement career a few years ago and got into financial services to be an industry disruptor and share this very strategy we're going to talk about today, because back in 2011 I learned about it and used it and have leveraged it into my real estate investing, and it's been one of the best financial tools I've had available, and so I want to share it with everybody.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Yeah, thanks for joining us, Adam, for sure. It's a bit early in the morning. I guess it depends for who, but we appreciate taking some time with us. So one of those strategies is, permanent life insurance, whole life. What can you tell us about that as far as a strategy for investing in real estate for investors?
Absolutely. So while most people, when they hear terms like life insurance or whole life, are used to viewing insurance as an expense, a line item expense in their budget, what I'm a specialist in doing is actually turning that model on its head, and we turn it into an asset, a tax-advantaged cash asset. And online there's a lot of differing opinions on this, and a lot of it has to do with around the idea of whether or not the policy was properly structured and whether it was utilized properly. And so that's what I'm an expert in doing, is educating people on how can you set yourself up correctly with this tool and then utilize it to its maximum potential. And the reason that life insurance, permanent life insurance, has value in this arena is because as a real estate investor, over time, if you're successful, you're going to have a couple problems to solve. One of those problems is, what do I do with my cash when it's in between deals? Another one of those problems is, how can I protect and insulate my cash and my assets from taxes? And another one of those problems is liability and just the possibility of lawsuits. If you haven't experienced one as a real estate investor, if you do this long enough, you may very well experience one. And so having asset protection strategies that help you insulate the things that you've worked so hard to build. So whole life insurance can actually offer us benefits in all of those areas. It can give us a place to store cash but keep it liquid. We can grow that cash ahead of inflation with a competitive interest rate that far outpaces what banks are paying right now. That money is tax-free, and then it's protected from lawsuits. Statutorily, here in Kansas, where I live, it's actually 100% protected. Those protections vary depending on state, but in the majority of states, life insurance cash values are protected from creditors and lawsuits. So it just gives you a lot of things that a standard bank account or a money market account, or you name the other cash savings vehicle, that they just can't offer.
All right, Adam, I want to hear a little bit more about this, because oftentimes you hear about whole life insurance, you think, well, the savings vehicle isn't really that, it's not that strong. Most of the money is going to be going toward the insurance and not the saving. I'm not going to get as good of a rate even while it's in there. So can you maybe give us a little bit more info, as well as talk about who this is not for, who this doesn't make sense to look into it?
Absolutely, and that's a really good topic that you brought up, James. And it was one of my primary objections and the roadblock for me personally as I was looking at this strategy for myself. because there is, quite frankly, an upfront opportunity cost. And I would say that is, there's significant, the two significant disadvantages to this, or the two things that one might look at and say, well, this isn't for me. Those two things are, number one, you do need to actually have some discretionary income. You do need to already be earmarking some cash towards savings and investments. So if you're not already doing that, if you don't have that discipline in place, or you simply just can't afford to earmark cash every month, then this would not be a strategy for you, because it does require consistent funding. And then the second piece is that opportunity cost piece that I talked about, because this is a long-term proposition. And so it is true that because this is a this is a strategy that leverages insurance as the tool, there is a cost of admission, there is a cost of insurance. And so the first several years of the policy's life, what you will see is the amount of premiums that you've paid into the policy, or contributions to the account, if you will, you will have access to less cash than what you've put in for the front end of the policy. So that can be a disadvantage, because, if you would put this up against a savings account, if you put in $5,000 to a savings account this year, that's what you'll have. If you put in $5,000 to a policy this year, you're not going to have $5,000 cash access that first year. And so, granted, there's a little bit of an opportunity cost there. But what's interesting is, in the long term, as you get 10 years in, 15 years in, 20 years in, most of us are investing for the long term. We don't plan to stop after 5 years. So as you get further and further in, the growth of that compounds, and it compounds tax-free. And that's really where the advantage comes in, because if you would put this up side by side with a cash savings account, brokerage account, or any other taxable account, what you'll find is, over the course of time, taxes eat a significant portion of your accumulation. So that's really the linchpin of the strategy, is that long term, you end up in a much better place than where you started.
Interesting. Okay, thanks.
No, yeah, that all definitely sounds good. I know as real estate investors, we all need multiple tools to get, to the end game, and sometimes it's difficult to find something, tax advantage or that can compound. So that's definitely beneficial to whole life. Another thing I think people should, keep in mind too, while you can use it as, some call it a bank vault there, that there is a death benefit side too. So you are also getting that. Some people get caught up on some of the fees, or not being able to take out long at a extended date. But at the same time, it's not only that type of policy. It does offer other benefits along with just as an investment tool. So I think people should keep that in mind.
That's a good point, John. And maybe one of the things I should have said too, as far as who is this not for, if legacy is not something that you're concerned about, then maybe there's other tools that are better for you. For me personally, one of the big reasons this strategy resonated with me was, of course, I'm building my wealth for myself right now to enjoy while I'm still here. But when I'm gone, I do want to leave something, both to my church, to my kids. So if legacy is important to you, then this is definitely worth looking at. If that's not important to you, then maybe there are other tools for you.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. No, appreciate it. So other than this tool you're talking about with Prevail Wealth Strategies, you guys have a significant amount of clients, and then also partners you're working with. What other services do you guys offer? And feel free to add anything else that we might not have talked about.
Sure. Yep. So my office is with Prevail Innovative Wealth Strategies in Leawood, Kansas. We do have some advisors affiliated with us all over the country in different states, but our home base is Leawood, Kansas. And our specialty is working with high net worth clients, or me particularly, real estate investors, and helping them mitigate the tax problems that come with doing well for yourself and accumulating wealth. And so that's really our hallmark, is how can we mitigate the impact of taxes on your wealth. And so around that, you can imagine there are a ton of strategies. And so we have a pretty robust team, to include a tax attorney under our roof, an estate planning attorney. We can help people with business valuations. And we also have an advanced planning team. So if you have legal documents for your business that you need reviewed, that's actually something we offer to our clients at no charge. And then they can get reviews from our attorneys, take it back to their attorney, and pay their attorney to make whatever adjustments or updates are needed. So we have those kinds of resources: income replacement, income protection, life insurance, of course. We do have the capability to manage portfolios, although that is not our primary business model. Like I said, I specialize in working with real estate investors, and most of them aren't real interested in having their money managed. They're doing it themselves. So, but yeah, we're able to offer a full suite of services.
Sounds good. Yeah, those investors are kind of an independent group sometimes, but they're always interested in different strategies and tools to lower the tax burden and find other ways to leverage their money.
Yeah. Yeah.
No kidding. No kidding. Okay. Well, this was great, Adam. I really appreciate your time to kind of join us and talk a little bit about what you do. I know we got a little bit more of a full presentation John and I did a while back, and it kind of opened my eyes to the whole topic. So if any of our listeners or viewers want to get in touch with you, kind of find out more and see if it might be a good fit, what's the best way that they can reach out to you?
Sure. So I'll give you guys both phone contact and an email contact for me. The phone contact number is 913-548-1447. And my email contact is my first initial A, last name Doran. So adoran at prevailiws.com.
Okay, perfect. Thanks. And we will go ahead. We'll put that in the show notes below. So if anybody who didn't want to take notes and they just want to click on it, we'll have it ready for them there too. So I guess with that, we'll wrap it up. So Adam, thanks a lot for being with us today.
Thanks for the opportunity, guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah, it was great to talk with you.
Talk soon.